Hello everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to our cozy little corner of the internet. I'm Pen, and today I'll be reading the one-shot The First and Last Time Chuuya Gives Shinsokoku a Ride by TsunamiOfBees. Here is the summary. Chuuya finds out the hard way why no one but Kunikita is willing to drive Atsushi and Akutagawa anywhere. Hope you guys enjoy, let's get right into this. 2 fucking hours. Akutagawa and Atsushi have been arguing for 2 hours almost non-stop, and there's still an hour to go into the trip. If you had asked Chuuya before he climbed into this 4-wheeled prison what the most annoying thing on earth was, he would say without hesitation that it was dealing with Dazai. That was a more innocent time, a time before life had decided to punish him for his every felony, misdemeanor, and wasted gallon of milk. He wasn't sure if these apparently nuclear-powered bickering machines being confined to the back seat was better or worse for him. Probably better, since one half of the argument wasn't being spewed directly into his left ear. As much as he wanted to blame the member of the Armed Detective Agency for all his misery, he was disappointed to say that it had been his subordinate and fellow mafioso who started this. Granted, it hadn't taken much time for the were-tiger to dive down to Akutagawa's level, but he was just trying to make conversation, asking if Chuuya listened to music. Honestly, the gravity manipulator would have been delighted to spend a 3-hour car ride talking about music, even with an ADA member. It was kind of nice that the kid had reached out for some common ground between them. Akutagawa really hadn't needed to cut Chuuya off before he had a chance to answer by saying, "No one cares, were-tiger." That one admittedly rude remark had sealed Chuuya's fate for the rest of the ride out to the countryside. "Thanks, Aku. You better not get in my way when we get there, were-tiger. The Port Mafia doesn't need the least beneath the moonlight." "I guess I'll just leave the job to Brashomon then. Get over yourself." How are they still coming up with new insults? Chuuya hadn't had the energy to tell them to shut the fuck up past the 35-minute mark. About 25 minutes after his throat started becoming sore from trying to match their combined volumes. It was like they didn't even hear him. They were in their own little world together. That was what he had been warned about though, wasn't it? Akutagawa and the Tiger Boy had tension. He had heard about it from Dazai, but he didn't give it much thought. After all, why would he bother listening to anything that Mummy's asshole said off the battlefield? He would happily throw Dazai off of a building if he wasn't sure that it would make that freak even happier than it would make Chuuya. Something about his train of thought makes Chuuya feel like a hypocrite for some reason. Where was he? "At least I don't dip my bangs in whiteout. Your improvised ass could only afford one bang." Oh, right, this thick fog of something making itself home in Chuuya's backseat and inside his pounding skull. He had thought it was a joke or an exaggeration, but this much passion for each other? Could all that really just be simple hate? No, this doesn't really feel like hate. But if they don't hate each other, why do they tell themselves that they do? It's so self-destructive. They should just confront their feelings like adults. Even if those feelings aren't romantic, they could still find themselves good friends. They have a lot in common. At least it'll stop making their sexual tension or whatever everyone else's problem. Why does Chuuya feel like a hypocrite again? Chuuya stares into the rearview mirror. The new double black had practically passed out 5 minutes into the drive back to Yokohama. Not surprising after the mission had turned out to be far more complicated than they had anticipated. He wasn't complaining. He really couldn't deal with another 3 hours of angry sound waves bouncing around the enclosed space. Truthfully, they earned the rest. Even when the situation was going to shit, they'd worked together well. Atsushi kept Akutagawa's mind on the civilians, while Akutagawa's support kept Atsushi calm and focused. Chuuya sees now why Dazai put them together. Not that Chuuya would openly tell the man that he was right. So he let the pair sleep, only debating whether he should wake them up after the blessedly silent car had crossed the Yokohama city limit. He glanced into the mirror and caught sight of something that made him suddenly redirect as much attention as he safely could to it. The sun had set halfway through the drive, so he had to wait for the car to pass the next streetlight to get a good look at it. And sure enough, he saw exactly what he thought. At some point in the drive, Atsushi and Akutagawa had leaned into each other while they slept. Atsushi's head was now focused on Akutagawa's shoulder, while the mafioso's head was resting on top of the were-tigers. Chuuya smiled. Definitely not hate. As the car nears the ADA office where Atsushi was meant to be dropped off, Chuuya pulls into a gas station with a new mission in mind. After he puts his car in park, he takes out his phone and hopes that the fatigue keeps the pair asleep and unaware while he does what he needs to do. He gambles on using the flash and wins a nice clear picture that is absolutely going to make his fucking day next time Akutagawa decides to make him sit through another "that goddamn foolish were-tiger" rant. But was it really fair to just make Akutagawa suffer when Atsushi was about as responsible for Chuuya's 3-hour ordeal earlier? No. And isn't the ADA all about that justice shit? Chuuya opens his text threads with Dazai, taps his thumbs on the screen a few times, and hands down Atsushi's sentence with a push of the send button. He only has to wait a few seconds before the were-tiger's infuriating superior responds. Mackerel, 2104. Oh my god, thank you so much for this. How useful is my dog becoming? You, 2104. I seriously can't do this with you right now, Dazai. Those little bastards almost wiped me out on the way to the mission, but I argued the entire time. I'm fucking tired. Mackerel, 2105. Impressive, isn't it? Impressive was one way of putting it. Never going to happen again was another. Okay, so that was the first and last time Chuuya gives Shinseikoku a ride by TsunamiOfBees. I absolutely love this one shot, and if you couldn't tell by the intro, I'm changing things up to do the whole ranting thing at the end, because, you know, I'm inspired by Put Your Hands Up Podfic. Been listening to them again recently. Really inspiring work. They do MHA Podfic mostly, so check them out if you're into MHA. But anyway, I'm inspired by them for like giving their little speech about how they like everything in the end. So I'm going to do that from now on because that's a lot better. Especially with my longer videos, the series. So you can just press next instead of having to sit through my entire rant at the start. And you can just skip the rant at the end. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I absolutely love this fic. Once again, I found this fic through Reddit. It's the same author as the last one and god, they're amazing. This was their first real fic, but it was so good. Honestly, good job, TsunamiOfBees. I absolutely loved it. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to hydrate yourself, and I'll see you all next time. Bye. Hydrate or dihydrate.